Well, hello there, my amazing Leos. Welcome into your general monthly reading. We're here to talk about July to see what the month is all about. But as you can see, we will in a hot second pull a couple Queen of the Moon Oracle cards. But before we do so, your energy throughout this month feels quite happy, very determined. There's a sense of you having many reasons to celebrate, to smile throughout the month. And it feels like there are a lot of unexpected amounts and moments of success for you, where Spirit is saying very clearly, very confidently, the month of July, this month is meant to be your best month out of the whole entire year of 2025. And so, stepping into it, make sure that you have a very optimistic, positive mindset, because I do feel, as always, you are manifesting, and we don't want you to put any sort of damper on this amazing, powerful, positive, successful energy that July holds for you. But as you can see, we're beginning in the center of your reading with the Path card. We also have Blossoming, and then we're moving on to Beauty. Yeah, this feels absolutely on point, as I feel like this is a month where your path is developing quite nicely. As they're saying as well, the stars are aligning for you. And there's some amounts of reflecting that needs to take place, whether it's more in regards to your habits, certain choices you've made otherwise in the recent past. Maybe it's a choice or two or a change or two in the midst of this month in particular. But either way, it feels like you are in, let's just say, Eight of Pentacles, Three of Wands kind of energy. While you're buckling down and putting in the work and feeling driven and motivated, inspired even, but then you're also looking forward to the near horizon, knowing that what's at hand holds great temporary, purposeful, beneficial energy, but there's more ahead that you know you need to get ready for, that you're expecting, maybe even manifesting, co-creating with Spirit. But moving on to the left-hand side over here, July, if I can even catch my breath in that moment, it's meant to be a month full of different levels of blossoming. While I'm not surprised to hear the message of the fact that you're blossoming as a soul, as a Leo, and that's quite evident. People are seeing you as someone who's meant to go places, someone who's blossoming before their very eyes, because it's somewhat meant to be a bit of a spotlight process, if that makes sense. At least part of you blossoming at this time is meant to be noticed by other people. All right. There's many reasons for that, varying from case to case. But as far as outside of you, there's a lot blossoming as well. There's a project for some, or a business, a hobby, something that you've been working diligently towards. And it's like music to your ears when you're seeing, or in a sense hearing, or maybe it's music to your eyes. I'm hearing art to your eyes. Anyways, the basic message that is trying to get through is that when that does well, when that blossoms, when that progresses and develops in the right direction, and maybe even you experience some levels of respect, honor, and appreciation due to it, it just feels so amazing. It's part of that success, that happiness, and that quality energy that you're experiencing at this time. And it's interesting that I'm saying that as there is some background noise, as I do feel the month holds little bits and pieces of energy here and there that could be magnetized, is what I'm hearing. It could be given more weight than it actually deserves, than it actually has. And so they're reminding you that when it comes to the imperfections of where you're living, working, who you're dating, regardless of what it ends up being for you individually, it ends up being what you give it. You know what I mean? So just take everything as it comes and just accept what you can't change, but don't give the small imperfections more weight than they deserve. Anyways, but moving on to Beauty, I feel like there's a huge focus on your looks, on your appearance to the world, how people perceive you. I wouldn't be surprised if people feel that you are going through a glow up, or at the very least are shining more than you once were, especially in the recent past. But I'm getting a message that I received for myself, and I'm a Leo sun if you're new to the channel, but it's feeling applicable for your reading for your month as well. Basically, the message was, I'm done hiding. I'm now ready to shine, right? And those weren't the exact words, but in a sense, that's the energy of July for you, to an extent, where you're saying, I'm done hiding who I'm becoming, who I am more at this point, what I'm made out of, how good looking I am, the amazing energy I hold. And it's time for me to shine. It's time for you to shine, Leo. And you're going to feel and experience this on different levels throughout July, to the point where people love what they're seeing, what they're digesting. There may be one, if not multiple, naysayers or negative Nancy's. Energy vampires is what I'm getting. Pessimists, if I could even spit that out. These types of heavy energies may pop up here and there throughout the month. Let it be a reminder as to how you should be, how you don't want to be, and don't try to control what isn't yours to control. Because it feels like there's maybe certain people that are envious of you or just negative, maybe looking to spread their bad energy. Point being, you're in good energy, you're desirable, you're respectable. Don't change or let it get the best of you, all right? Change, of course, but don't change in that direction. Anyways, let's move on to the tarot portion of your reading. There's something about you more than ever being, as well, before we shift on forward, within your masculine energy. Someone who also is quite sensitive but doesn't come off that way. People don't typically perceive you in this way, but it's like you're this big, gentle, sensitive lion, given that's our Leo animal. But let's shift these down and let's start pulling some tarot. I do apologize if you can hear any of the background noise, but we are getting your reading done. The Nine of Cups coming out, absolutely beautiful. It feels like for somebody drawn to the reading, what you have been looking to see take off, get off the ground, blossom more, progress to such a satisfying extent, that's your wish fulfillment coming in. But for some of you, it's about other aspects of your path, or one particular aspect coming to be or transforming. There's a sense of you getting what you want at this time. They're also reminding you, because it feels like I'm kind of trying to talk louder over the noise in the background. Just because there's bad energy, just because there's a noise factor, does not mean you try to cover it up with more noise, including your own voice. You may try to, at a certain point, mask or cover up the excess noise with music, or turning up the volume on something you're watching, or just again start talking. And they're saying that's not going to help. All right, it's just adding to the heaviness. But the Queen of Cups over here, because part of your beauty throughout July is putting your hands up and saying what's going to happen is going to happen. But I do have certain amounts and levels of control over that. Because you are driving the ship forward. But there's a feeling of you wanting to look your best, wanting to feel your best. Your health is a true focus throughout July. While things like accessories to purchase, to wear otherwise that you already have, different clothing types, the colors you choose to wear, especially vibrant ones given we're Leos, it all is very much representing how you've changed, what you want more out of life, how you wish to be perceived. I feel like even to go to the extent of saying the way you wish to live more so, For example, you choose to wear a vibrant color throughout the day, or several. It's because you're wanting more vibrancy, more excitement, more color out of life, where it's been feeling blah, dry, expected. You know what I mean? A little bit boring maybe. And so I'm feeling as well, the month really gives you prime opportunity, even when you don't expect it or realize it, to rebalance things in your life, within and outside of you. As I do feel that's part of which what we were just speaking upon. But then what about the areas of your life? Are you working too much? Are you spending money and making money too much? Where is the watering of those important connections? I'm hearing it's as simple as a phone call or a text to get the reconnecting started. But I do also feel you were thinking about maybe a new type of connection in the future, whether it's platonic and or romantic. I really feel like there is a sense of appreciation in the air. Now, I feel at least a good amount of which is stemming from you, but there's maybe other people, say at work, at home, it could be who you're spending time with. They're also feeling quite appreciative. And I would not be surprised if you maybe are have a little bit to do with that. You know, you were an example to be appreciative, to be grateful, or maybe you actually said something that had that effect on them. But it just feels like you are spreading. I'm getting that message now. You're spreading, Leo. And as well, it's a month where you're prioritizing your peace. Now, that peace isn't just inner, but it feels like you're protecting the peace outside of you because you know that affects within you. It affects your reality and your energy in general. And so I'm getting the number 8 now, as I could not look away from it. But I'm not surprised that this is a month where you're being informed and or reminded in certain ways. The success that you're meant for, the ideal path that you're meant for, the wish fulfillment that you're meant for, the beauty out of life within and outside of you that you're meant for, all of which is meant to come to be and be experienced, be digested and created peacefully. Peacefully. And I honestly want to remind you that just because you're a fire sign doesn't mean things have to be that things have to be bringing excitement to your world or lots of energy. I honestly feel like at this point along your Leo path individually, you need to be thinking about whether or not something or somebody is going to disturb that peace, and that goes for continuance, but also the considering of new beginnings. All right, who and what comes with you holds great importance and can make or break you in your path. All right. It's almost this reminder of who you choose to stick around for a significant period of time. You end up somewhat, if not fully, becoming that type of individual, right? And I know a lot of you have experienced this to an extent in the past. And so it seems to be a month where you're needing to not overthink it, of course. Don't procrastinate per se, but be methodical, be very intuitive in a trusting manner. Be very selective and even picky in regards to who and what has a place with you moving forward. I also feel like there's something about some of you Leos being really meant for fame, and that may come up in your money and career read. But look at this. The World card was coming out in reverse, but it was just very prominently shifted in the upright position because this is a month where, Leo, you're experiencing world change. And I know you hear this often in your Leo readings and readings otherwise, but if it's a message, it's a message. If it's energy for your month, then it's the energy for your month. But it just seems like you're going to be elevating at certain points or feeling like that. Some of you are astro traveling at certain points throughout the month. That will feel off, even if you've experienced it before. But it's a sense of spirit kind of lifting you while it feels like, again, some of you are experiencing a lift off, a takeoff outside of you, but you're really being prepped for more prosperity. You're being prepped for a different lifestyle, for maybe more luxury for some, but it feels like you are at risk for a burnout for some, or maybe just you're feeling extra drained at certain rare points, and you may slip up and stumble in these moments. It's a reminder to balance things out in that sense as well, and to make sure that you are prioritizing your Leo rest. I'm not going to take this for the board because it doesn't feel relevant over here, but I really feel like you are the magician of your reality and you're remembering this. And the way you're sitting holds great significance. While I feel that could actually be repeated, I'm getting that randomly. Say you're sitting like this, it could be at one point when you're meditating, and then one point when you're in your leisure time, another point where you're sitting like that doing an exercise or socializing. Do you get the point? Or when you're getting your work done is what I'm getting. And so there's some other repeating moments or stances, positions, what you say even could repeat at certain points throughout the month. This is all very spiritual. And I feel like usually there's going to be a message for you in regards to what's repeating. There's also something about you having more within your grasp, within the palm of your hand than you realize, than you remember. And they're also saying be open to receive. Be open to receive, Leo, for there's a lot more to gain at this time than the recent past in comparison to it. July kicks June way out of the water. It feels like in your case, especially, July is just saying, June, you may have helped us in certain ways get ready for this month in the future, but we are well aware that July is the best month yet for you once again. That was kind of a weird message. It was a little bit jumbled, but anyways, there's also a feeling of design being quite significant for you. And the color white and the color blue, peace and purity, all right? Peace and clean vibes is now what I'm getting. You're also going to find that music is a big part of this time, and as well as cutting back on things that make you feel unhealthy. As my voice struggles there. But let's wrap it up with one more card on the right, the Six of Pentacles. You will be rewarded for being beautiful. All right, I'm just going to say it as that. But you will be rewarded for the beauty of what you create, develop, and put out there into the universe. And you will find that part of the beauty of your path at this point, as things develop, is the fact that you're easily receiving what you want, what you need, and the in-between. All right? It just feels like, once again, Spirit's saying things are improving for you, and you're part of that process. You're looking good, things are blossoming, and your path is improving. Spirit is saying, again, to reiterate, the month of July 2025, the best month for you yet, period. All right? So Leo, those are your July messages. I hope they were truly helpful. As always, I am sending you a ton of love and light.